Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Getting straight into our top story for today. Civic Center TV celebrating Women's History Month with a new special program that premieres on Friday. West Bloomfield resident Thais Leverett will be speaking to prominent local women in business who have excelled in their field and are making great contributions to our community each and every day. The Thais Leverett Show will premiere on Friday morning right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM beginning at 10 a.m. and repeat throughout the rest of March. Civic Center TV General Manager Dave Scott spoke with Thais about the show and our community celebration of women's accomplishments.
Hey, thanks. Dave Scott, Civic Center TV. Back on TV, it's been a while. And imagine that. I'm at one of our amazing restaurants here in West Bloomfield. It is the amazing Aurora Italiana restaurant. And, I go way back. This, believe it or not, it's hard to believe, but this was a sign of the beef eater, like when I was in high school, which is a crazy, crazy thought. But that's not why we're here tonight. We're here tonight with Thais Leverett. And Thais, so good to see you again.
As always, very good to see you as well.
And we met, I think, at the Black Expo maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've had and are having an illustrious career in business.
Of course.
But you came up to me, we were talking, and you said, I think I can do some television work. And you have absolutely amazed us with very little experience. Your on-air proficiency and your execution has been absolutely amazing.
Well, that means a lot coming from you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the opportunity. You didn't have to give a little West Bloomfield resident a chance, but you did. So thank you.
Well, it's kind of our job here at Civic Center TV. So I kind of had to, but it was an easy pick with you. So thank you very much. So Thais came to us not long ago and said, there are amazing stories in our community from people that we might not all know and see every day, and especially women. And it was just a perfect time to sit down as we have the International Women's Day coming up, to sit down and hear some of those stories. And that's exactly what you did. And so you've recorded this show, right?
Yes.
Your first hour-long plus show.
Yes.
And we're going to be airing it on Civic Center TV this weekend. So tell me about it.
So I think the thing that resonates the most with me after recording the segments that we did is just some of the things that the women are doing. You know, I knew that there's a lot of powerful stories and powerful women in our community, but to really hear more detail about the areas that they influence, about how they navigate their professional lives with their family lives, and what motivates and inspires them, whether it's their current inspiration or what maybe lit the spark years ago to get them to do what they're doing, that's so valuable to me. It's something I'll definitely take away from this experience for sure.
And I watched you do these interviews, and you will enjoy watching the interviews that you did. The people at home will really enjoy them because you ask questions that I would never have even thought to ask, okay, as a guy. I hope you don't mind me saying that.
No, not at all, not at all. You know, I think obviously I am a woman, obviously, but just, I'm also kind of nosy, like I want to know more. How did you do this? You know, you did all this, well, how? So I think that's kind of what drives and motivates my questions, because I really want to understand their experience and their journey.
Well, and the journey for women, even though we have evolved dramatically from the days when my mother, back in the 60s, went downtown to work at Detroit Public Television, but still had to come home and make dinner, right?
Yes.
I mean, I know we've evolved from there, but there is still a big family component to virtually a bigger one than I think, and I mean, there's exceptions, but a bigger one than a lot of guys, a lot of men handle. That is just a huge part of some of the most successful women in our community.
Agreed, and I think that really speaks to women's ability to navigate multiple spaces at once. And a lot of times it's just because of their internal drive. A lot of times they have a great partner at home. Some of the ladies share, like, it's a partnership that I have with my spouse, and that's just as valuable. And I think really what's important now is that women just have the choice to do the things they want to do. If they want to stay at home and raise a family, that's great. If they want to have a career and just have that, that's great. If they want to have both, have that. As long as they have the choices and the support to be successful, there's nothing they can't do. And I think that was apparent by the people I talked to today.
Well, Thais, you did a great job. I encourage all of you to take time over the weekend or over the next month. These will be on Civic Center TV. You'll hear them as you're driving around in the community on 89.3 Lakes FM. You'll be able to go to YouTube, to Facebook, to all of our social media outlets. And in fact, on Friday, tomorrow, we are going to let the Splash crew take the day off, and we're going to air your show.
I hope they enjoy their day off. They've earned it.
And it's going to go a little bit longer than our episode of the Splash, but it's really good. Some really amazing stories. You did a great job. You know, the only problem is...
What's that?
Yeah, you did such a good job. You're just going to have to keep doing this.
No good deed goes unpunished.
No, it doesn't. I know the people at home are going to watch. Thank you very much. Wonderful job.
Thank you.
I think we can finally eat now. Thank you for watching. From the Aurora Italiano restaurant right here. You got to come here, by the way. And thank you to these guys. Tony and everybody here, absolutely amazing. Come have dinner here. Absolutely amazing spot from this amazing restaurant in West Bloomfield. I'm Dave Scott, Civic Center TV. Back to you.
Thank you, Dave Scott, Thais Leverett, for introducing another great show to our program. And you can watch the premiere of our Women's History Month program, the Thais Leverett Show, beginning Friday morning at 10 a.m. Tune in right here, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM, and check it out across all of our social media as well. Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook, Civic Center TV on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, or X, I should say now. Daylight savings time will be taking effect this Sunday, March 9th. It's a time for everyone to spring forward their clocks an hour ahead and lose an hour of sleep as well. But not everyone is excited for the impending time change. As one local resident explained to us, it can throw off the balance of your entire schedule.
It can be easier if you're really not a morning person and it's light out. It could be nice. I'm a morning guy. I get things done in the morning, so I just like it nice. It's more peaceful when it's darker, honestly, to me. Feels like I'm by myself. I don't have to, say too much, do too much. Feels nice.
And some people like it like that, and I understand it. But not all residents are reacting to this change with negativity, as others, like Danny Benjamin, see the benefit in daylight savings time's importance.
I mean, of course, I've had it my whole life, so I don't know anything different. I tend to be happy with it because for the summer, longer days and staying light out very late. So I know there are people who are opposed to it, but I don't think I am. I'm very happy with the way it is, actually.
Now, in case you haven't heard, there has been talks for several years of the possibility of getting rid of daylight savings time altogether. In fact, bills have been introduced in at least 15 different states to get rid of it, but no formal action or notion has been passed as of yet. Still, that doesn't stop residents like Jeremiah Rambo from wishing daylight savings time would just go away.
Yes, definitely. It matches up with me, and people dealt with this for thousands of years. So hopefully we can go back to that for me.
But but just as there's people like Jeremiah who want daylight savings time gone, there are others like Danny who actually want it to stick around.
No, I like it the way it is. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it is because, first of all, our summers and springs are so short in Michigan. I mean, if we lived in Alaska and we had some times where it was 23 hours a day of sunlight, maybe it wouldn't bother me. But it seems like before we know it, we're into fall. So I think I like the extra daylight, and it actually makes fall, at least for a while, a little bit longer too, until we switch over again. But overall, I like it.
Whether or not you like it or not, we are here for daylight savings time, which isn't going anywhere as of right now. So Sunday, March 9th, 2 a.m., make sure you spring forward 1 hour with your clocks all around your home. West Bloomfield Girls Basketball District's semifinals was just last night. They were on a road to a district championship, which continues for the West Bloomfield Lakers girls basketball team as they faced off against Lakeland Eagles in a very high-stakes semifinal matchup. With both teams fighting for a spot in the district finals, the energy was high, and the competition was fierce. I was actually at West Bloomfield High School to catch all the action and hear from the team and the coaches after the big win.
I think the biggest thing was players just understanding their role. People think we have an experienced team, but we have players that have been on a team that was successful. Everybody's still finding their roles. Tonight was big lights from a lot of these players, so they understanding what it's about. They got it the second half. We got the victory. On to the next one.
One of the players that was part of the successful 2024 state championship run is senior guard and forward Breasia Gamble-Jones, who explained what it took to come out with the win.
Moving the ball, find an open person, just trying to score, trying to drive, attacking, get them in foul trouble, and we finished it out strong.
While the plan was executed victoriously on the court, the support from the parents and coaching staff made the difference. Parent Erica Beal and Coach McAllister discusses how the girls have responded to the pressures of a high-stakes game and season.
Oh, my God. Our girls are amazing. They have worked really hard. I think people have counted them out because they lost so many seniors last year. But the girls have just had their heart and their soul in it, and they've been playing the whole time, doing what they need to do. So it's important that we all show up to support them.
I think they responded well. I think early on it was like a deer in headlights. But again, we got players that was a part of the journey, but wasn't there still in the fire. Now they're in the fire, so they're seeing what it's about. I think we grew up tonight. We're ready to get back in the lab, watch film, and get back in the gym and get ready for Friday.
The West Bloomfield Lakers girls varsity basketball team looks to host Orchard Lake St. Mary's on Friday, March 7th. But what are the key factors for victory in the district finals?
We don't give up on them. Our girls are working. They're going to show up, and we need to make sure that we're showing up for them.
Keep moving the ball around, knowing opportunity, just getting the easy scoring baskets.
One word, trust. I mean, we got to trust each other. We got to trust the coaching staff and go out there and execute.
A hard-fought victory for the Lakers as they now set their sights on the district finals. With momentum on their side, they're looking to bring home another championship title and continue their very impressive season, by the way. We'll keep you updated on their journey, but for right now, congratulations to West Bloomfield Lakers girls varsity basketball team on a well-earned win. A new railroad route has been proposed by MDOT, and Greater West Bloomfield has some historical perspectives to tie into some of these railroads. A new passenger rail route connecting Detroit, Windsor, and Toronto is in talks. It's being discussed right now with possible implementation between 2028 and 2029. The West Bloomfield Trail used to be part of the Detroit United Railway, which connected our local area via the Pontiac Sylvan Lake interurban trolley. A lot of interesting information here, and we recently actually had an opportunity to speak to a historian of Pathways Inc., Brian Golden, to tell us a little bit more about this historic connection to Greater West Bloomfield. From Pathways Incorporated, we have historian Brian Golden. Thank you for being here, Mr. Golden.
Pleasure, Calvin.
We appreciate you bringing your knowledge, your information, and your history with us here today. I want to dive a little bit more into this interurban trolley and Detroit United Railway. Can you just speak on this briefly from the perspective of how the Detroit United Railway and interurban trolley system shaped the growth and development of Metro Detroit communities like West Bloomfield?
Oh, no, that's an easy one for me. You see, back over 100 years ago, there were Native American trails that crisscrossed this entire area. Now, farmers that purchased, or settlers purchased land in these areas, used those Native American trails as a means to get from one place to another. Mm-hmm. Now, those Native American trails kind of grew into roadways. Those roadways were dirt paths. And unfortunately, when you add one component to those dirt paths, mm-hmm. water, you get a muddy mess. So a lot of the roads that existed 200 years ago were impassable, especially in the springtime when there was nothing but mud and dirt all over. So somebody came up with a brilliant idea, and that is, why not let's put railroad tracks in or near the road and use some sort of a conveyance that rides those rails, so you're not dependent on the quality of the roads. You couldn't just run the tracks in the roads without gaining some kind of permission. So what municipalities did back then was to issue a franchise to the interurban company. Now, franchises are used today. Guess what? Cable companies. Cable companies use the public right-of-way, and they pay municipalities for the use of that public right-of-way. Well, that concept started way back when the inception of an interurban system started. So there were several people vying to run the interurban line from downtown Detroit all the way to Pontiac. That was critical back then, right? Because Pontiac was not only the county seat, but it was a manufacturing hub. It was also a higher learning institutions were located in Pontiac. So there were several different people vying for the right to be able to run the tracks out Woodward Avenue. Well, there was a father-son combination that got the franchise. They were awarded the franchise, mm-hmm. and unfortunately, other people that were left out. Well, there were two industrious fellows who happened to be brother-in-laws. They wanted to find an alternate route to Pontiac. And what they found was you could there was already an existing electric railway system that ran out from Grand River all the way to a community that back then was called Sand Hill. Today, that community is called Redford. And so they kind of hooked onto that rail and ran it all the way to downtown Farmington. Now, before it got to downtown Farmington, it branched off. It's called a junction, where when track comes together or splits apart, it's called a junction. There was a junction at Orchard Lake Road and Grand River. Today, there's an old historic building at the foot of Orchard Lake Road.
Mm-hmm.
Today, it's known as the Winery.
Right.
But what it was the powerhouse for the interurban system.
Okay.
And it produced enough electricity to get the trolley to go up Orchard Lake Road through Farmington Township into West Bloomfield Township.
Nice.
Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Kego Harbor, and there was an existing system in Sylvan Lake, as you may have already mentioned,
right,
called Sylvan Lake and Pontiac and Sylvan Lake Railway.
Right.
Well,
okay.
That railway system was a means for them to connect to that system that already went into Pontiac. So they had an alt route to Pontiac. They claim that you could actually get to Pontiac faster by going out Grand River to Orchard Lake Road. I'm here to tell you it was about a 70-minute ride on the interstate from downtown Detroit. Well, you know, if traffic is as bad as it is in a lot of times in rush hour,
right?
It'll take you
about
an hour,
the same about time. Yeah, I get it.
To get from downtown.
Right,
so
right. So sorry to cut you off. Just go ahead, please.
Right. No, I was going to say this. So this was the opportunity for it to service a totally underserved area, which was West Bloomfield Township.
Right. All right. Okay. Nice. Once again, want to thank Brian Golden, historian from Pathways Incorporated, for coming on the show and giving us great information about how Greater West Bloomfield has had historical ties to railways and railroads in the Metro Detroit area. You can rewatch that entire interview on our website, civiccentertv.com. Click on the On Demand tab. Did you know that March is Reading Month? I'm willing to bet if you read, you probably did know that already. But did you know that the West Bloomfield Township Public Library offers diverse programs to encourage literacy across all age groups? I think that's a great effort. With that being said, joining me right here live on The Splash. Oh, excuse me, we'll have to prepare for that, but we actually will be joined by a local librarian from West Bloomfield Township. That'll be coming up. Right now, we are live, local, social. It is The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. March is officially Reading Month. What better way to celebrate than at our local West Bloomfield Township Public Library? It's only right that right now I be joined by the Information Services Librarian from West Bloomfield Township Public Library, Justine Flores. Thank you for being here, Justine.
Good to see you, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Thank you so much for asking. All right, I just want to get straight into it, right? Don't want to hold up too much of your time. March is Reading Month. Why don't you just tell us how our library is celebrating this month?
All right. Well, we want to say every month can be Reading Month, but March is Reading Month mainly because it's the birthday of Dr. Seuss, and so that has reached out to a whole month. And it's never a bad time to read, but it's always good to have a timely reminder to read some more. Maybe you made a New Year's resolution to spend more time reading or less time on a screen, and maybe you just need a little reminder to do that more.
First and foremost, thank you for dropping that bomb, because I had no idea March being Reading Month was tied to Dr. Seuss's birthday. So First off, right there for us. So with that being said, I see the library as a source, right? A resource. But just because a resource is available doesn't mean that it'll be used or used efficiently. So what role does the library play in fostering a love for reading for both children and adults in Greater West Bloomfield?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do in my job as a librarian is introduce someone new to the library, maybe someone who's never been to one or hasn't been to one in 10, 15, 30 years. And, our brand, of course, is books, and people think of the library as a place with books and quiet and reading and shh. The library is so much more. So we have programs, events, resources from babies till 105. And we hope that there's something for everyone here.
And I'm glad you just spoke on it, too, because I've made a few visits to the library as of recently. It seems like every time I go, the library gets bigger. I'm finding new areas, new rooms, learning new things about the library. So I think it's a great place for everyone to go experience. But you spoke on programs and events. Let's get into that a little bit more. How does the library's programs support early literacy development in our youth right here in our community?
All right. So we have programs for youth, for young adults, for adults, but for early literacy, the two biggest programs we have are, the first one is called Books and Babies. It's babies only. It goes up to maximum 18 months, a very exclusive club. And we do some books, some little rhymes, some finger play, some song and dance. And we get those books into the hands of babies as early as possible, and that's a great way to start early love for books. Then our next story times would be Move and Groove is our most popular story time all week. We have it on Mondays at Main and Wednesdays at West Acres Branch. The Monday is not registered. The Wednesday is registered because of space constraints. And that's 0 to 5 with stories and song and dance. And once again, getting those young kids to become lovers of books, which they do before they can read. When they're just getting a book read to them, that's how you start the love of books.
Nice. And I love that, too. I read to my son very frequently, reading his Spider-Man books and stuff like that. So you got to keep them engaged with what they love and what they like. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, from West Bloomfield Township Public Library Information Services Librarian Justine Flores. Since we do have such a diverse group, a diverse population in our community, we do have some people who may not speak English as their primary language. With that being said, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that a library will be a source for that. How does the library support non-English speakers in their literacy journey?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about working here is meeting people coming from all over the world, speaking all kinds of languages. And we have resources that you can do at home on your computer or on your phone, and resources here. I'm actually looking right now at the English Conversation Club. They meet on Wednesday evenings and Thursday mornings, whichever one works best for you or both. And so it's just a English learners coming to practice their English with some of our literacy volunteers. They also have an English language book club. They have resources for anyone who might be practicing to take the citizenship test. So you can do a practice citizenship interview here or get all the materials you need to study for that. We've got a full handout on all the things for English learners. So please visit, call, find out if you know anyone who might benefit from that.
Yes, flexible programs, flexible days and times to kind of be convenient for everyone. That just goes to show the consideration that the library has. Justine, we appreciate your time, your information. Just lastly, are there any new initiatives, events, or programs, community events that we can all expect from the library in the upcoming month or so?
Yeah, so in the next few weeks, we've got a couple of great things. We have a youth and young adult author named Sarah Weeks. She's the author of many books. She's coming to do an author program on Monday, the 17th. And she's written so many books. So everyone's invited to that. You can check out our website for more information. We have a local author fair for people who have written their own books and want to share more about that. That's going to be on the 23rd. We've got Read to a Dog. That's usually for K through 5. And a silent book club. If you want to just read whatever you want to read among other people who love to read, you don't have to read the same book. That's always fun too.
Yeah, so many different options, so many different choices, and we love them all. We love our library, by the way. Once again, West Bloomfield Township Public Library Information Services Librarian, Justine Flores. Thank you so much for your time and information.
Thank you, and happy reading.
Yes, happy reading. There I go, reading my scripts. It is reading month. So make sure you check out the library, all of their resources and what they have going on for March is Reading Month. You can go directly to their Facebook page at West Bloom LIB or go directly to their website, WBLIB.org for more information. Did you know that this week is School Social Work Week, and it honors the crucial role that school social workers play in student success and well-being? School social workers help students navigate mental health challenges, behavioral concerns, and social issues while supporting teachers, parents, and school administrators. I think it's time for us to dive a little bit deeper into this and how our social workers help our students right here in West Bloomfield. So joining us right here live on The Splash is school social worker from Scotts Elementary in West Bloomfield School District, Claudia Rogers. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
This is very interesting, the role of a social worker in school. I'm very, very interested, but I want to start with the basic. Your inspiration. What inspired you to become a school social worker?
Well, this was not my first career choice. I've always had a passion for education and supporting families. However, I had an unconventional start in a school setting and have really enjoyed it and found that's one of my passions.
Interesting. So what do you enjoy most about your role specifically at Scotts Elementary?
Our kids and our families are amazing. We have a great staff here. We work collaboratively together to support our students. We've been seeing a lot of really great student progress in terms of social emotional well-being and academic achievement. So it's really nice to see that positivity here at Scotch.
Okay, thank you for that. And I like that you enjoy your work with that being said, right? So I want to talk about this, your actual work and what you do and how it affects some of the students there as a social worker. How does your work support students in West Bloomfield who are facing those mental health challenges, behavioral challenges, whether it's at home or it's at school?
Well, so no day is ever the same here. I don't think that would be the case in any school setting for a social worker. Every day is kind of a new challenge. In terms of just supporting the the whole child. We really work to getting to know our students, ensuring that they're in the appropriate classroom so that they have developed positive relationships with their peers and their teachers, making sure that we're staying connected to families, communicating back and forth about behavioral challenge, celebrating successes, really working collaboratively as a school team to help make sure that our students are feeling supported, but also our teachers are feeling supported, supporting some of our students that have, some of the most significant needs in our school environment. So yeah, that's what we're doing here in a school setting.
Okay, my curiosity is starting to kick in, and I got to ask some questions now. You mentioned someone coming to your office for behavioral mental health challenges or things like that. You say you get to know them and kind of walk them through it. How do you get to know these students? Like, what does that look like?
So I'm in a K-5 building. So again, never a dull day, always a new exciting challenge. Really just getting to know students and their interests has been something that's been really helpful for our younger students. Doing that through play is something that we do pretty consistently, talking about their interests, getting to know their families. We do a lot of play-based conversations with our students, that we do a lot of social skills in terms of modeling how to socially interact with one another. So that's really how we're getting to know our kids. And then as we get to know them better, really kind of identifying goals and areas of need that we can focus on.
Okay, cool. Off to a great start. Loving it so far. With me right here live on The Splash, school social worker for Scotts Elementary School, Claudia Rogers, talking about School Social Work Week and the work that they do for our children right here in our community. Now, here's something that I think we all want to know. School is completely different from what it was 10, 20, 15 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago before the pandemic. So with that being said, what are some of the biggest mental health challenges and social challenges that you see students facing today?
I think most consistently, we're just seeing that social interactions have been impacted by a lot of the external things that are happening in our world. So really helping students identify how to advocate for themselves, how to engage their peers in an appropriate manner, making sure that they're not only are they advocating for themselves, but also they're supporting their peers. So that might mean having conversations with teachers about needs of other students, or ensuring that students have access to the things that they need at home. As a school social worker, we're doing a lot of kind of case management and navigating with community groups. So that's a component of our jobs, to make sure that students and families have access to what they need so that our kids are learning when they're at school.
Okay, interesting. You kind of basically spoke on the aspect, I would think, the social challenges and things like that. And I can kind of go down a rabbit hole asking more questions with that, but we'll just save that for another time. I want to ask you, let's just say you're in school a regular day, or you say it's no normal day, and let's say you notice something in a child, right? Are there any key signs that a student might need to speak with a school social worker?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of us are well versed in those kids that have kind of those externalizing big behaviors that we're seeing. Maybe they're yelling, or they're getting in fights, or they're not getting along with their peer groups, or maybe they just aren't compliant or participating in school or learning activities. So those are kids that we see, and we know that they need some assistance and support. But one thing that we're also concerned about is those kids that are kind of those internalizing kids. Those are kind of red flags too. Kids that may have engaged in activities that they once enjoyed, and they're not doing that as much. Or maybe they're kids that kind of fly under the radar. So they're quiet, they follow directions, but maybe they seem a little bit socially isolated from their peer group, or they're not communicating. We want to check in with those kids too.
Yeah. You really got to have some type of social detector or something like that to kind of kind of dig through the stuff that they don't say or they may not show, but you just kind of, like you said, get to know them, ask some questions, know their interests, and things like that. So I appreciate that. With me right here live on The Splash, Claudia Rogers, school social worker for Scotch Elementary, talking about School Social Work Week. Don't want to hold you up too much longer, essentially. Just want to ask very, very briefly, talk about the work that it takes for you all to collaborate, social workers to collaborate with parents and teachers to make an effective environment for these students to get better.
So that's like the crux of our job. We're supporting students by supporting their needs. And to do that, we have to work collaboratively with our team. I am super blessed to have an amazing team here at Scotch of service providers in our special education department, but also our general education teachers and administrators are amazing. We are in constant communication with one another. If a teacher sees something that they're like, can you check in? They're able to communicate that to us, and we're able to kind of, act pretty swiftly. Same thing with our parents. If our parents are identifying some concerns and they share that with the teacher may share it with one of the school social workers that we have here, or somebody in our administrative or special ed department. So really it's that like open communication and ensuring that when we are talking about the unique needs or deficits that kids are exhibiting, that we're assuming positive intent, that we're talking about things that are really tough and they may be problem areas, but we're working towards restoring those areas and helping them be more successful at school and at home so that they're contributing to our society effectively.
Prime example of it takes a village to raise a child. We definitely appreciate your time and your information. Any last messages you would like to give to the community, you would like to give to students or teachers, or just information about school social workers or school social week in general?
It's an exciting week for us. We don't necessarily have the opportunity to kind of stop what we're doing and celebrate, but it is an opportunity for us to collaborate with one another. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate our successes as a district, and it's really nice that West Bloomfield has been so supportive to the social workers here.
And we appreciate everything that you do to support our future leaders of the community. Thank you again for your time. Once again, school social worker from Scotch Elementary School, West Bloomfield School District, Claudia Rogers. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yes, love to talk about that. School Social Work Week, by the way, March 2nd through March 8th, where we are celebrating those who help support our children in the community. We love to see that. Are you hungry? Because I am definitely hungry. Let's talk about new food options in our community. We'll get into that coming up. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. gonna let you go. Never gonna let
And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. There's a new restaurant in town, Lost Sailor Fish and Gourmet, which is officially opened up in Sylvan Lake, offering high-quality seafoods, meats, cheeses, and gourmet products. They actually emphasize a service-driven experience, shaping the menu based on local feedback. I think that's very unique. So what better way to talk more about this new restaurant than to have someone represent the restaurant on the show? Joining me right here live on the Splash from Lost Sailor Fish and Gourmet, we have proprietor David Cross. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you because you're bringing new food options to our area. That way we don't have to, we can have more things to try out. So first and foremost, talk about the inspiration to bringing Lost Sailor Fish and Gourmet to Sylvan Lake specifically.
Well, so I live about 12 minutes from Sylvan Lake. I live in West Bloomfield, and I drive down that Orchard Lake all the time. I have for a long, long time. I went to West Bloomfield High School, so I just think it's an underrepresented area for dining. It makes sense because there's spaces it's easy to get to. There's big parking lots in a lot of places, and I just don't feel like it's being utilized enough. And on a more specific note, as far as Lost Sailor, there used to be a fish market many years ago on 15 in Orchard Lake called Pomeroy's, and my family would get a lot of fish from there. I'd go there with my mom to pick stuff up. And I just felt like it was one of those things that was missing in our world today. It can't be about just driving to the big box grocery store and getting every single thing you need. I mean, I get it, we're under tight schedules and what have you, but you get a chance at Lost Sailor to see some stuff you're not going to see at the big box supermarket that I think you'll really appreciate.
Yeah, like you said, quality food, gourmet products. That's what makes the difference. So I'm glad that you painted that picture and put it out there because, yes, you can go to, I don't even want to say any names, but you can go to the big box stores and get anything in one shop. But why? Support local, support gourmet,
yes,
and people that have specialty niches as well. So this new restaurant in our community, why don't you describe what the atmosphere will be like for someone entering for the first time?
Sure. My goal in my mind's eye was to create a place where you walked in and you felt like you could hear the waves crashing on the sea. The freshness is the key to that. And I think that when you come in, you see what kind of looks like a typical butcher or seafood shop or market, with the difference being that we have tables for you to dine in. We have a full kitchen. Our goal was to kind of let you decide what you wanted. You can come in, you can pick stuff up and go home and cook dinner for your family or for yourself. You can sit down and have it cooked for you. And as you touched on before, in our few short weeks of this soft opening, we've made it a habit every week of adding something someone asked for the week before to our repertoire, so that we could fill the local community's needs. We're an extension of the community now, in my mind.
Listen, let me tell you first and foremost, David, because I love that approach. I love when I can give some type of feedback or just give a suggestion to a business in general, and they actually take it into consideration and actually, execute it at that point. That lets me know that either they're just listening to me and taking it in, or there's a few people who felt the same way and they said, this is something the community wants. Let's consider this. Let's do this. So I love that you all are doing that. With that being said, we recently had a soft opening, right? If I'm not mistaken. Can you just talk about the community's response to your recent soft opening?
Well, it was all community. I mean, 9 out of 10 people that walked in the door I was meeting for the first time. By the time they left, we knew each other's names and kind of, our background stories. I don't have a sign up yet. That's how soft opening it is.
Oh, wow.
It was all based on social media outreach. The community, they took me in and come in every day, different members of the community, and say, I saw your post. I'm sharing it over here. This is where you got to kind of put it out there because so much of our community gets their information right here. So then I do that. And then that day, 5 new people would walk in and tell me that's how they heard of us. And again, it was that back and forth of this is what we really like to eat. Okay, cool. That's something I can get for you. I'll do that. So it's very much that they have surprised me at how present they've been in just these couple of days that we've done.
Good. Man, that speaks volumes. Don't even have a sign up, word of mouth, social media, networking, and then you get a great turnout for a soft opening. Man, that speaks volumes, and congratulations on all your success so far. Join us right here, live on The Splash, representing Lost Sailor Fish and Gourmet in Sylvan Lake. We have proprietor David Krause talking about the soft opening, the establishment in general, and what they bring to the community. Here's an interesting note right here. It's officially Lent, if I'm not mistaken. But with Lent being a time when many people kind of steer away from meat and turn to seafood, how is Lost Sailor Fish and Gourmet catering to those observing this tradition?
We're just doubling down on what we've been doing. We're adding more fish items this week. I highlighted some of them in some of our social media as well. But we're bringing in some other stuff, both prepared from our kitchen and stuff for you to take home and cook. With exactly that in mind. It's a good time to do that. And we will have meat, more meat options to come in the future, but it's a great time to kind of introduce everybody to what the backbone of Lost Sailor is. We're your trustworthy fishmonger, We're here to educate you where you want to be educated, but where you feel you already know we're here to provide those things for you. So we tried to really expand what we're offering this week so that everybody could get a fish and some seafood that they like going in this first Friday of Lent.
Beautiful. And once again, very considerate, and I'm glad that we are giving you the platform to actually promote your business establishment during Lent season. That way people know that they have other places that they can go and support. For context purposes, I want you to answer this question for anyone who's aspiring to be a local restaurant or business owner. What challenges and successes have you encountered in launching a new restaurant right here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Well, I've opened a lot of places. This one is very, very personal to me. But my advice to anybody who is thinking about getting into this industry is very consistent. Sylvan Lake, Detroit, Dearborn, anywhere. Do it because you're passionate about it. Don't do it because you think it's some sort of cash cow or you think that it's going to reward you in financial ways that are beyond your dreams. The best rewards I've got out of this industry is being a member of a community, being part of a neighborhood, getting to meet people, getting to make their day a little better. If they had a rough day and they come in after work, get some oysters, they're going to feel better. And that's what this industry at its best is about, in my opinion. It's the hospitality industry, first and foremost.
Yes, man, speak on it. Taking care of others, treating others how you want to be treated. I think that's a great 100%. Recipe, no pun intended. Hey, don't want to hold up too much more of your time. We appreciate everything that you are doing and bringing to our Greater West Bloomfield area. Lastly, just talk about what's next or what we can expect from Lost Sailor Fish and Gourmet, or any messages you want to get to the community.
Sure. So in the coming weeks, as we get closer to our grand opening, out of the soft opening kind of we're in, we're just going to keep on adding more stuff every week. Charcuterie, cheeses, meats, more fish, all kinds of fun gourmet items, caviar, things like that. But especially as we get into the season and get into spring and summer, I just think that you're going to have an outlet, and a real simple outlet, comfortable, pull in the parking lot. You want to make a good, clean, healthy dinner for your family, whether they love seafood, whether they love meat, whether they're vegetarian. I think I'm going to have the options for you to feel good about what you're fueling yourself and your family about. So I hope you'll come and check us out.
Well said, and we will definitely make sure we pay a visit as well. Once again, representing Lost Sailor Fish and Gourmet in Sylvan Lake, proprietor David Krause. We appreciate the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Oh, yes, and I am getting hungry just sitting here. Can't wait. Make sure you go pay them a visit as well as Sylvan Lake. When they get their opening, their grand opening, we will keep you updated as well. Art Sale is returning this year, and they are looking for artists and crafters for the 2025 season of the Kego Harbor Block Parties event. It is completely free to participate, and it will take place the third Friday of June, July, and August. Actually, Civic Center TV's very own Jake Schaff recently had an opportunity to speak with the president of Art Sale, Robin LaFrance, to give more details on the event and what they're expecting from artists.
And here to tell us more about what Art Sale is looking for, we have the president of Art Sale, Robin LaFrance, joining us right now on The Splash. Robin, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to have you with us, and really excited to be getting into this conversation because it means that spring and summer are coming very, very soon. I'm getting tired of winter. I'm sure a lot of people are as well. But what are you most looking forward to as the spring season is coming up and these opportunities for Art Sale starting to rise?
Well, we're looking for artists to fill the shows. We have 3 shows for the Block Party season, and they're the third Friday of June, July, and August. So if you're interested, you can apply to the Art Sale group email, which is artsale.kego@gmail.com, and I'll send you an application, and we can get started with there.
Awesome. And can you walk us through the process of applying to be a part of such an event like this? And what are some of the key steps and requirements for artists who want to showcase their work in this incredible way?
Well, it's free to all artists to show and sell their work, and number one, which is fantastic because where do you get that anymore? And everything has to be handmade by you. So we don't allow buying and reselling because it is an authentic art show. Even though it's small and casual, we still are a little bit juried, but it is a casual show. And once you're accepted to it, we're hoping to get a lot of local artists from the Lakes area, which we have a giant talent pool here. So we're hoping people show up for it. You have to have your own shelter and display and set up.
Well, you are certainly right. And it's great that you mentioned that you guys are prioritizing handmade works because those take, I would say, a lot more skill. And it's always great to see those on display because that really showcases the creativity of the Kego Harbor community. And are there any specific guidelines or restrictions for what can be sold at this event or the types of handmade works that you're looking for?
We pretty much accept all categories as long as it's family friendly, because we are a family event. So pottery, art, painting, sewing, it really doesn't matter as long as it's artistic and handmade by you.
That's absolutely right.
And it fits the criteria,
That's absolutely right. As long as it fits those requirements, there could be a wide variety of things on display for these events. So I'm sure artists are already.
We do get a wide variety of artwork, so we're looking forward to that.
How does Art Sale ensure that participating artists have a supportive and collaborative environment at events like these?
Well, Art Sale is a group run by artists for artists, so we are very inclusive and accommodating for artists. And I'm always there. If I, for some unforeseen reason, I can't be there, I'll send someone in my place. But you can always get a hold of me if you have an issue or anything, and I try and help everybody direct setup. And the Art Sale group is coming up on 9 years together now. I can't believe it. I joined in 2016 when it started as I moved to Kego. So I have an anniversary with Art Sale coming up and an anniversary of being a resident of Kego Harbor.
That's great. Happy anniversary, and it's great to hear of how much and how big Art Sale has grown over the years. For those just joining us right now on The Splash, we have the president of Art Sale, Robin LaFrance, joining us to talk about what Art Sale is looking for the upcoming spring and summer season as the Kego Harbor block parties are starting to begin their preparations very, very soon. And Art Sale emphasizes the camaraderie and exchange of ideas among their participants. How does this sense of community enhance the overall experience for both the artists and the attendees?
Well, it's been a big inspiration for me since I joined, and I think that's a big part of it. We inspire each other. We also share our work on the group page. We also try and create events that are friendly to artists and crafters. And also on the page, we try and share a lot of opportunities for artists and crafters, even if they're not created by the Art Sale group itself. So it's a great network to be involved in. If you are a working artist, you can stumble on a lot of opportunities.
It's a fantastic opportunity. You're absolutely right. And can you talk a little bit more about how Art Sale helps to foster these connections between local artists, supporters, and the wider Kego Harbor community?
Well, we try and Art Sale is not just for artists. We encourage fans of the art, so it brings a sense of culture to our community. And we'd love to incorporate the residents that aren't artists and crafters to support the arts and enjoy the arts.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are watching this right now, already getting ideas for what they're going to be showcasing at these events come spring and summer. Robin, one more quick question before I let you go. What role do social media, like the Art Sale Facebook page, website, all of that, what do they play in promoting these events and connecting with potential participants and attendees?
That's a fantastic question because I do most of the social media myself, and it's huge. It would, these days people don't read the newspaper. They don't really look at flyers and posters anymore locally. So we really have to use social media to our advantage. And I'm really involved in that, so I appreciate that question.
Well, we appreciate everything that you do for the Kego Harbor community. Robin, we thank you so much for your time and joining us on The Splash today.
Well, thank you, and stay warm.
Great interview and great information to keep in mind for our local artists and creators when it comes to participating in Art Sale, but we'll have more information for that as we continue in the program later. But we appreciate you for joining us today. Make sure you check us out on all social media, Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook and Civic Center TV on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.